From Mason City to Clear Lake, Senate Democratic candidate Theresa Greenfield is up against Joni Ernst, an incumbent Republican in the U.S. Senate. And while in Clear Lake, Iowa today, we were able to catch up with her while she was at a small business, a donut shop owned by a local family. So as I was reading your bio and seeing kind of what your experience is, what made you decide to jump into politics and run for Senate?
I know. It's such an honor, by the way, to be running and to meet people all across the state, to talk to small businesses, talk to farmers, talk to big businesses. I'm loving every minute of it. It'll be more of an honor to serve. But probably the biggest reason is I grew up a scrappy farm kid during the farm crisis. I grew up on a little farm outside of a town of 500, and I watched farm families go bankrupt. I went to auctions, where the contents of a home was put in cardboard boxes, put out on our hay racks, auctioned off for $1 or $2. And my own parents really suffered. They had to sell their crop dusting business, their hogs. They never farmed again. And us 5 kids left the rural area. But that story is pretty common through the Midwest. And of course, after that, schools closed and grocery stores closed. Today in Iowa, with haphazard trade, reckless tariffs, and what I call the Ernst ethanol policies, net farm income is down 75%, bankruptcy rates are at an 8-year high, and farmers, rural America, our manufacturers, they need a representative who's going to fight for our economy. And so it's one of the reasons I got in this race. The second one, though, is Social Security. I was widowed at the age of 24. And when my first husband, a union electrician, died on the job, I became a single mom with a 13-month-old and another one on the way. And it was Social Security and his union benefits that kept the boys and I from poverty. I literally had no way to pay the rent. And Senator Joni Ernst talks about privatizing Social Security, and I just said, no way. We need a junior senator from Iowa that's going to fight to sustain Social Security for generations, for grannies, for widows, for all of us who rely on and, by the way, pay into Social Security.
For those who say privatizing Social Security is the way to keep it sustainable and to make it more accessible to everybody, that's the answer. You don't think so? Why?
No, I don't think so at all. Folks have worked hard every single day and they've paid in, and they don't want us to gamble their Social Security on Wall Street. We can sustain it with a lot of other things that we do, but most importantly, we need leaders who will work with anyone, who will work on both sides of the aisle, who see sustaining Social Security not as a Democratic thing or a Republican thing, but as something that we do to take care of one another. It's that benefit we've earned, and to make sure that it's there for grannies for generations to come.
Coming up after the break, my conversation with Theresa Greenfield continues as she tells me the 3 biggest topics she keeps hearing from voters on her campaign stops. That's next. Welcome back. We are in North Iowa today on the campaign trails with Republicans and Democrats. Before the break, you heard my conversation with Theresa Greenfield. She is the Democratic Senate candidate up against incumbent Joni Ernst. In this segment, she talks to me about small businesses and the 3 biggest issues she keeps hearing from voters. Washington politics, so polarizing and divisive, more so now than it's ever been. If you get elected, how can you reach across an aisle that there's so much hostility?
Yeah, good question. I got in this race to put Iowa first and to put hardworking families first. I didn't get in it for Republicans or Democrats, but for the people I know, like the donut shop owners, right? Like the farmers in the field. Those folks need a voice.
Energy, climate change, health care, Social Security, foreign issues, foreign policy, lots going on. When you go throughout Iowa, what are probably the top 2 priorities from people you hear? I'm sure it's different in Des Moines than it is here in Clear Lake. No?
Not at all.
The top 2 you would say would be what?
Okay, number 1, hands down, is health care. It is on the ballot. It's premiums, deductibles, out-of-pocket expenses. It's seniors getting gouged for prescription drug costs. We have to require Medicare to bring those prices down for our seniors. Put a few bucks in their pocket, they need that, but it'll also save us taxpayers $500 billion. So health care, it's mental health care, addiction care, and the other thing that I hear about is our hospitals. Rural hospitals, they have really been saved by Medicaid expansion. Iowans need to know that Senator Joni Ernst voted repeatedly to end the Affordable Care Act, which would end the Medicaid expansion, which has kept our hospitals, especially our rural hospitals, open. I want to strengthen that Affordable Care Act. I want to make sure our hospitals are getting what they need and they don't lose their Medicaid so that we can continue to have those services. I talked to too many families around the state. I was just out in Correctionville. They drive 25 miles to get groceries and to go to church and to get the rural health care. If their hospital closes, they said they don't know how far it would be. So we've got to work on health care. It's the #1 topic. Number 2, right now, honestly, it's the economy and jobs. Just like at the donut shop, Iowa's a state of small towns, small businesses. Many of them tell me their revenues are down 60%. I talked to a cleaning company up in Fort Dodge recently. Their revenues are down 80%. They're not sure they're going to be open again after the first of the year. So I would say it's healthcare, it's this economy, jobs, keeping our businesses open. And then can I throw in a third?
You certainly may.
Honestly, we got low commodity prices. About 50% of our farmers are considered financially vulnerable. We've got bankruptcy rates going out. We need a senator that's going to keep corn prices up and drug prices down, which is kind of the opposite of what Senator Ernst has been doing.
What's the biggest thing that has surprised you on the campaign trail that you didn't expect when you entered this race?
Do you know, Iowans are wonderful, warm, welcoming people, but I have absolutely been touched by absolutely how kind everyone has. Even some folks who said they're not voting for me, they'll still invite you in. Make sure you get a warm cup of coffee if you want it. You know, Iowans, they work together, and I would like to see Washington work a lot more like our hometowns, where we come together to solve problems.